Hey everyone, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Maracuya and I am in my 30s. And I created this podcast called Ketamine, Trichotillomania, Anxiety and Jesus because I'm going to be honest with you. My life is a complete mess and I'm pretty sure that many people can say that. And almost everybody has like a survivor story, and I think that's actually really amazing. In fact, today I was watching the show called My 600-Pound Life, and I was kind of inspired by a lot of the attitudes, but I was also kind of dismayed by some of the attitudes that I saw in people that don't want to take responsibility for their actions or for things they may be doing wrong. But anyways, I just wanted to introduce myself to you and let you know that this podcast is going to be mostly about really random things that have to do with anxiety, depression, Jesus, marriage, successes, failures, dreams, things like that. So I also wanted to share a lot of articles that I wrote in regards to my life. Some of these articles are kind of sad, some of them are inspiring. I love to write, so anytime I write something, I'm going to share it on here so you can listen to it. If you have any suggestions or anything like that, you can always send them to my Instagram. It's Reformed Eve, REFORMED, and on there I will answer your questions, or you have any ideas for future topics and things like that, or things you'd want me to research. I love researching or write about. But yeah, I'm trying to do several podcasts right now. One of my podcasts is about reading the Bible and talking about Jesus and like sharing really positive Christian messages. And to listen to me, you don't have to be a Christian, of course, but that is kind of the only reason why I'm alive and why I'm here and why I'm not 6 feet under. There are so many things that happened in my life that when I think about it, I really think I should have been not alive. And I think again that most of us can say that. Some of the experience that I share, I'm going to be inspired by the moment. So this is going to be kind of a random podcast that happens at random times. So if you subscribe, I don't really know how it works here with the whole subscribing thing, but if you're listening, I appreciate you. So I'm also in the process of trying to lose weight. So I will talk about that as well. And there's just so many things I kind of want to cover over time, but I had to introduce myself first. So I'll let you know, I'm in my 30s. I am married. I love the beach. I really, really, really love the beach, and I love fishing, though I'm not a big fan of hunting, which is kind of weird. I think maybe Bambi traumatized me, who knows, but I tried doing recently like the keto diet. I kind of failed at it, so I signed up for a program called Calibrate and another program called Noom, like NOOM, to kind of see what happens. And maybe I'll talk about my experiences in the future because I just started them out. So I'm curious myself about what's going to happen down that path. But if you have something you want to share about your life, or if you have like a survivor story or something that you want to kind of like get off your chest, if you have a question, if you have a prayer request, let me know. I want to be there for you. I want to be in your corner. I want to give you advice. I do want to let you know that I have a master's in psychology, and I'm also working on a master's in pastoral counseling. So it's actually like a master's of divinity. And my major is going to be mostly, like I said, pastoral counseling. So counseling people through their problems, could be whatever issues really. So if you have questions, ask me. It's kind of like free advice right now because I'm not doing it as a licensed psychologist. It's just me trying to help you find your way through life and give you a little bit of motivation. So kind of like life coach, except not like dedicated life coach, like where you have to check in or anything. You can just talk to me, send me, I guess, like I said, a request or whatever you want. So in regards to music, I will tell you that when I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of rock. I was a big fan of like Godsmack and Chevelle and Slipknot. And maybe someone out there knows what Quail is, but I really liked Quail. It was kind of like considered ska, SKA. You've probably never heard of that. Maybe you have, I don't know. But anyways, I really loved rock music. But ever since I was younger, I kind of had a lot of ideations about not wanting to be alive, right? And I kind of felt that rock music understood my angst, my anger, my sadness, my depression, my darkness, the things I really couldn't even express through my clothes. And yes, at some point I did try to dress like one of those people, like all black with a little like silver ball chain, you know what I mean? Things like that. I do want to let you know that I should be doing laundry right now, and I'm still in the middle of a 600-pound life episode thing. So I'm trying to do all this before my husband gets home, because once he's home, I have to, kind of pay attention to his needs or whatever. But I do try to be a good wife. I'm the kind of wife that I wake up in the morning, like at 4, get his breakfast and lunch going. And yeah, just try to get ready. So I do work a few times a week, not every day. So I do have time for the podcast and painting and other things I need to do, like homework. But I'm a big time procrastinator. So I have been known to procrastinate quite a bit with my homework, as maybe writing like 2 12-page papers that are due on Sunday by midnight, and I start them on that very same day, things like that. So I really need to get away from that, but I've always been a procrastinator. In regards to the Trichotillomania, what I want to mention about that is this. I'll probably talk, well, not probably, I definitely will talk more about it later on, but Trichotillomania is where somebody like pulls their hair or eyelashes out, and some people do other things with that, like they try to eat like the little root of the hair or things like that. It can get weird. I'm sure you've seen those shows on Netflix. People eating like, I don't know, forks or wearing diapers. I don't know, just a whole bunch of stuff. But trichotillomania is caused by anxiety. And from what I noticed when I was young, it started with like kind of sucking on your hair, which again sounds disgusting. But it must have been some kind of self-soothing thing. I don't know. Later on, I'll tell you more about my childhood, how I was brought up, things you might need to know about me, because I want to share my heart, my soul, my dreams on here. I want to share my faith. I want to share my hopes. I want to share my successes, failures, and even those times that aren't really perfect when it comes to like my relationship or being a mom. Like right now, I'm kind of struggling because my daughter... I think she's not a Christian, and I really want her to be a Christian, but I can't force her to be one, because I found out that people that were kind of forced to be Christians ended up like all those weird, I don't want to say it, but like serial killers, like people that don't do good things, and I don't know. And they're always like in the documentaries, they grew up in a religious household, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be one of those religious household freaks that like ends up raising somebody that does like harm in the world or whatever. So so I'm kind of struggling with that. Also, I will tell you, I am from Central America, but I am also an American. So I'm kind of I do speak English and Spanish. My Spanish is kind of embarrassing, but I do have a Spanish podcast for prayers. But I always feel really self-conscious, like doing those prayers, because my Spanish, well, my husband, okay, let me backtrack. My husband's a teacher, and he is really good at grammar. mostly Spanish grammar because that's his main language. So he likes to correct me a lot. Like sometimes if I send him a podcast, instead of like focusing on the message, he focuses on my grammatical errors and the way I say things in a way that's, I guess, not pleasing to the ear. Again, my Spanish is not perfect. It's not beautiful. I don't even have like a Panamanian accent. Things like that. But I do try, and I do want to reach not only my like English speaking audience from around the world, but also like Spanish speaking audience. But that's like a whole nother podcast on its own. But anyways, I just wanted to share with you a little bit of my struggles, that I'm a real person, that I am not always happy-go-lucky or positive, though I really try hard to be positive. Okay. Sorry, I had to move the the microphone away from me because like I had this weird feeling. Do you ever get a feeling like a little bit of anxiety, like when there's something kind of sitting on your chest, or maybe like your throat closing up or something? I don't know. Maybe sometimes it happens to me randomly, especially if I know I'm sharing things that are kind of personal to people I can't see or don't know, or even if I don't know, I'm kind of like, anxiety and I have always been best friends, might as well have been my middle name, alongside with depression. But I guess I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, so I hope you either appreciate it or you tell me to calm down. But again, this is my first podcast sharing with you, and I just kind of want to be open. So what I want to tell you is I have been taking a medication called Zoloft. Well, I started off with 50 milligrams and then went to 100 and then 200. The generic name for Zoloft is sertraline, and in case you didn't know, I used to be a pharmacy technician, so I was around medications a lot and studied medicine for a little bit. Anyways, so I started it last year, and it actually has been a complete kind of life changer. I didn't think it was gonna be because I think I was always kind of scared of medications, and I remember when I was little, like 13, I think my parents were fighting and they were about to divorce, and I was kind of starting to try to blossom, but I was definitely an ugly duckling. I don't think I bloomed, I don't know. But anyways, I remember going to or being taken to a psychologist and then a psychiatrist. And I remember telling the psychiatrist, how will a pill make my parents stop fighting? I just couldn't understand as a 13-year-old how one little pill can change your life to where like everything's okay again. So I didn't really understand the mechanics. And to be honest with you, as much as I kind of tried to study medicine through school or on my own, the dynamics of how, or the pharmacology of how these medications work on the mind is still actually unknown. But the most of the results are through like trials and studies and things like that. But anyways, Zoloft has worked for me, and I don't know, and I couldn't tell you if it's a placebo effect or what the heck it is, but all I know is that after Zoloft, I was able to gain motivation. I was able to join college. I actually survived the whole like COVID thing mentally because I actually work in a high-paced, well, I'm gonna say like I work at a medical center, so I am exposed to COVID pretty much every day. But I can tell you that I haven't been sick yet, as far as I know with that. And I'm kind of not like super paranoid person. I guess the way that I think is this. I'm always gonna try to be safe and everything, but I'm not going to like let my life be like run with fear to the point where fear is what is motivating me to be alive. For example, so I'm in Texas, and last year, actually not last year, I'm lying, this year, but last week there was this horrendous like snowstorm in Texas. And you know, it's not supposed to snow in Texas, and from my understanding, it hasn't snowed here in a long time. Some people say 20 years, some people say 32 years, I don't know. All I know is that Texas is not known for its snow. So anyways, The snow, for some reason, knocked out like power grids, and people had like no water. Nobody was prepared for like the water pipes busting. Everything was freezing. The lines at Walmart were extremely long. People were like going crazy for firewood and propane. It was kind of like a little mini world catastrophic event for Texas because nobody really was prepared. And I'm not going to say nobody. I hate absolutes. So a lot of people, maybe most Texans, were not prepared, and especially for the lack of electricity. Having no electricity made me extremely creative with my husband, but also extremely aware of how dependent we are to electricity for everything in our lives. So we didn't have Wi-Fi. We barely had phone service. I think the towers were like freezing up or something. I don't know. We, of course, had no light, no oven, no refrigerator, no television. So life was kind of weird for like a week. I still had to go to work because of the medical nature of my job. But my husband and we got creative and we did like barbecuing and things like that. And my dad, he was really negative. He was kind of like just sitting on the couch, kind of not in a good mood, listening to the news. And he loves the news, even though the news is catastrophic. I feel like somehow the catastrophic news is like, I don't know, consoling to him, or who knows. But recently he mentioned that he was depressed. So I think I told him to just stop watching the news because it's just nothing but bad things. And the more bad things, the more it sells. And, it's like someone just had their, I don't know, someone just lost an ear. Tune in at 8 p.m. tonight to find out why. Okay. I don't know. But anyways, I know I'm going on so many tangents. I talked about a little bit about my anxiety, about Zoloft, about my husband. But yeah, I really do have to get back to the laundry though, and perhaps finish this episode of my 600-pound life. I think I'm on season 8, probably episode 5, I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. It's actually kind of motivating in a way, like I said earlier, but anyway, remember to send me a message if you want. I hope you enjoyed listening. If you didn't, I'm really sorry. Not good at this podcast stuff, and it's just me, so yeah. All right, guys, well, God bless you, and I will talk to you later. I'll see you when I see you, or like Rocco said in Boondock Saints, I'll see you on the flip side.